my crafty friends? My name is Carrie and welcome back to my channel. It's Friday, so y'all know it's time for Fab Collab Friday, and I'm so excited to share my project with y'all this week. So our theme for this week's collaboration is red, white, and blue decor. And y'all know how much I love decor, but it has to be functional. If it's a functional piece of decor, then it totally gets mad props in my book. So wait until I show you what I'm using to make my project this week. So I've got a couple of Dollar Tree cutting boards here, and I did go for the red ones this time. And I've also got some 5-gallon paint sticks that I picked up from Sherwin, and the guy actually gave me a dozen of these for free. If you don't have a Sherwin near you that gives these paint sticks away for free, then you can also pick these up at any of your hardware stores. I think Home Depot has them like 3 or 4 for $1. So if you want to see what I make with these two items, be sure and stick around. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up because that would mean the world to me. And don't forget to check out everybody else that is in this collab with me because their red, white, and blue decor is just going to blow you out of the water. Now, be sure to watch all the way to the end because I do give you several different variations for this one project. This piece is also super transitional, so you can make a few changes and it'll go with any of your decor. So are you ready to make something with some cutting boards and some paint sticks? Let's get started, y'all. Okay, so these are the supplies we're going to be using for today's project. So I've got 3 of these trays that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. I've also got 2 of the cutting boards. I've got 12 5-gallon paint sticks that I picked up from Sherwin-Williams. And I've also got 1 1/2-inch dowel that I had left over from another project. I'll be sure to put all of the supplies down in the description box below, just in case you want to make one of these for yourself. I did decide to use my miter saw to cut my pieces, but if you don't have a miter saw or you're not comfortable using one, then by all means, you can definitely use a handsaw. Okay, so I've got all my pieces cut here, and I'm just going to give you the measurements real quick, but I will link those down below so you'll have all of the measurements and exactly what you need to know in case you want to make this box for yourself. So I've got 6 pieces that are 15 3/4. I've got 6 pieces that are 6 1/2. I've got 3 that are 14 3/4. And then I used the leftover pieces to cut my braces for the sides, and that's 8 and 3 3/4. So in total, I have 12 5-gallon paint sticks here. To put this together, I'm going to be using my Gorilla wood glue as well as my Sherwin glue gun with those tough sticks. These are amazing glue sticks. They're not your typical glue stick at all. These are like high strength, super durable, wonderful glue sticks. So I've just gone ahead and poured a little bit of my wood glue into my container here because I will be using a paintbrush to paint these on. Okay, so let's go ahead and lay everything out so we can get started. We're going to build from the bottom up, and we're going to start with our 3 pieces that are 14 3/4 inch long. We're going to spread those out sort of evenly here. Then we're going to take 2 of our pieces that are 6 1/2. We're going to have those facing out. And then I'm going to take 2 of my 15 3/4 inch pieces. And we're just going to build a box, y'all. So I do want to start out with a little bit of wood glue and my hot glue on my ends, and that's how I'm going to put it together. So I'm just going to take my paintbrush and maybe put hot glue. I'm going to put my wood glue on the edges, and then I'm going to put my hot glue right in the center. My hot glue is going to let it have that instant hold, and then the wood glue is going to let it have a long hold. I'm going to do the same thing with all 3 of these pieces, and I'm going to be spacing these out as evenly as I can. It's not really that big a deal if they're super level at this point. It's totally up to you if you want to get very technical. And I'm just going to sort of eyeball Make sure this isn't sticking to my countertop here. Now this is going to be the bottom. So I'm going to turn around and I'm going to glue these pieces on the other end, just like I did this one. Okay, now I'm going to take 2 of my 15 3/4 inch pieces and I'm going to glue those end to end. I'm going to use the same gluing technique that I did with the other. I've honestly never done this gluing technique with wood glue before, but I've done it a million times with E6000. I am being pretty generous with my wood glue, just because I want it to be super sturdy. And again, these are not just normal glue sticks that I'm using, they're the Tough Sticks from Sherwin. They're like an industrial strength. And again, I'm going to run a bead of my hot glue right in the middle. And it may be overkill, but I would rather have too much than not enough. Okay, so now we'll repeat this process for the other side. Now you can see some of my hot glue did kind of seep out the bottom here, but when I'm done with everything, I'm gonna go back and clean everything up before I paint it. So at this point, I'm not really worried about any of this. Okay, so now we're ready to start the next layer, and we're gonna build the next layer the exact same way that we did this one, except we're not gonna have any bottom pieces. So let's move this out of the way. We're gonna build our side pieces. Okay, now let's bring our first 2 back. And I want to add some spacers here. I want to make sure that this part of my project, that all of my pieces all have the same amount of space and that everything is nice and level. So these are just some scrap wood pieces that I had left over from cutting my paint sticks. And now we'll just put our second layer on top. Okay, looks pretty good. So now I'm going to take my little smaller pieces that are 3 3/4, and I'm going to have 8 of these. These are going to be my side braces. So I want to glue these pieces onto the edge. And how you do this part is totally up to you, but I want mine to sort of overlap a little bit so that I've got a nice finished edge. So that's how mine are gonna look. But if you just wanted to put them on just right there on the edge and not worry about overlapping them, you can totally do that too. But I just like the way that that nice clean edge looks. Okay, and there's one of our edges. So see how you can see the seam on this one? I want this to be facing my long side. So when I glue those on, that's how I'm gonna glue them on. So I'm just gonna go ahead and glue these other 3 together really quick. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and glue the corners down first on these first 2 pieces so I can take out my spacers and then glue the next piece down. And again, I am gonna double glue these. I'm gonna put my wood glue on one side and my hot glue on the other. Alrighty, she's looking pretty good so far, don't you think? This thing's pretty sturdy. And I mean, let's be real, it's kind of cute just on its own, right? Whoops. Gosh dang it. Okay, now let's go and glue in our very top piece. Okay, now we can take our spacers out, and I'm gonna let this dry and cool off really good. And after this is all cooled off, I'm gonna go ahead and paint it white with, you guessed it, my Rust-Oleum chalk paint in linen white. So when I come back, this will be done and we'll be ready to put this whole project together. But I mean, for real, this is a cute, cute little box all by itself that has tons and tons and tons of possibilities. What would you use this little box for? Wait until you see what I'm gonna do with it next. Okay, y'all, so now let's put this puppy together. So I've got my box all painted here. And I honestly didn't really worry about painting it. It's like super duper great. I still wanted some of the wood grain to show through a little bit. And I really love this little box so much. I think I'm gonna go back to Sherwin and see if I can pick up more of these paint sticks because this turned out so amazing. And best of all, it cost me $0 to make because they gave me all 12 of the paint sticks. So I also cut my dowel here. And this is roughly 16 inches. It's a little bit longer than my box. So this is right at 16 inches. And I went ahead and painted this the same white like my box. So now I've got all 3 of my trays here and I've got my 2 cutting boards. So I'm gonna be gluing this together with my E6000 and also my Sherwin hot glue gun with Tough Sticks. So the very first thing that we're gonna do is to take one of these trays. We're gonna flip it upside down. Now, honestly, I've done this a couple of different ways, and you can do it like this and set it down in there, but I honestly think it looks better and it works out better if you flip it upside down. So that's how I'm gonna put mine together. This is how we're gonna do it. I'm going to put a little bit of E6000 in the corners, and then I'll also put in a little bit of hot glue. You might have to hold this tray down until your hot glue cools off, but once it cools off, it should be just fine. Okay, so now I'm going to take another one of my trays, and if my measurements are correct, this tray should slide right down in between here, just like that. We are going to have a little space here, and that's going to be great so we can actually store stuff there if we choose to. That's what it looks like on the inside. So I'm going to pop my other tray in the other side before I glue it down. That's what it looks like so far. If you'll use the measurements that I gave you, they will be exact, and that's all you're going to need to make sure that your box is super sturdy. Okay, so now we want to fit our 2 cutting boards on each end. Before we glue everything down, we just want to make sure that our measurements are all correct. You want to do a dry run first. And so far, everything looks good. So I'm going to take my cutting boards back out. And then I'm going to take my hot glue and my E6000 and just put it right in between here so that I can put my cutting board right in its little slot. And I'm going to keep my hand here until this is completely cooled off because I don't want this to shift or to move. And I'll repeat the process for the top piece. And this is actually what's going to hold all of the weight for our box. All of the weight for our box is going to be right here. So that's when we want to make sure that this is nice and snug. Okay, so now we'll repeat the process for this end. And we are just about done, y'all. Now that my cutting boards are in place, I'm just going to run a bead of hot glue right in the center of right here to bond these together. And the only thing that we've got left to do is to insert our dowel for our handle. And it just goes right in there. Isn't that cute? I'm going to show y'all a couple of ideas that I have in mind for this box. And the first one of these is going to be super simple and easy. And that is to make it into a little paper towel holder. When I made the smaller box, I had several people to ask me if this could be used as a paper towel holder. But unfortunately, the first one that I made could not because it was too small. But this one, you actually could. It would even be cute to pull it down under here. And make like a paper towel dispenser. Now you could even put aluminum foil on here. If you wanted to drill a couple of holes, you could actually put aluminum foil underneath the bottom. But you can use it as a paper towel dispenser. The cute thing is, you've got all this storage in the back. If you wanted to put some of your other barbecue stuff, you could totally do that. And there's you a cute little grill caddy. Just like that. But what I plan on using it for is sort of the same thing, but I'm not going to put my paper towel holder on here. Now, if you decide to make this as a paper towel caddy, you will probably want to add some type of ball or something on the end so that your paper towel holder does not move around, and you would just simply drill out your holes or find some balls that have your holes already in it, or you could put a little screwable insert and you would have to thread that off and on each time. You could also use a ping pong ball from the Dollar Tree. Just cut you a little hole in here. I would glue one down and make one stationary. So all you have to do is pop that one off and then pull your dowel out when you get ready to change your paper towels. But isn't that adorable? So stinking cute. Paper towel dispenser. Just be aware that if you do decide to use this as a paper towel holder, you won't be able to, you'd have to pick it up by your paper towels there. And that's totally okay. But this is not the look that I'm going to go for today. So because I knew I was going to be using my box for a grill caddy / picnic caddy, I wanted my handle to be in place. So I did go ahead and just put a little bit of hot glue down inside there, just so that when I picked it up, my handle did not move. And even if you decide to go this route, you could still put some type of knob on the end there, but I just kind of like the way this looked. So now I want to take one of my little blue and white checkered towels that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to line the inside of my box. Isn't that adorable? It looks so patriotic already, but wait until you see what I've got planned next. I picked up some of these USA little wall hangers from Dollar Tree. And this is what they look like. And I just pulled the US and the A off of this little hanger part here. And honestly, even though this is torn up, I might save this bow because it is totally cute. And I could probably glue this on the end right here. So I've got two of these. And I didn't realize until after I got home that I got one set of stars and one set of just plain. I wish I'd gotten all stars, but I didn't. So we're not gonna worry about it. We're just gonna go with it. If you know you want to keep this as a patriotic piece of decor, you can go ahead and hot glue these down. But I like the idea of being able to change it out. If I wanted to swap out my little towel here for maybe a Christmas or Valentine's Day, then you can totally do that. So even though this is stuck down with hot glue, if I wanted to change it out, I could just pop that off really quick. So because I know I'm going to be changing these out, I'm not going to hot glue my USA down. I'm going to be using my nano tape. And if you've not heard of nano tape, you are totally missing out. And I'll put a link to the nano tape down below that you can get off of Amazon, because this stuff is nothing short of amazing. So the nano tape is like this super heavy duty double stick sided tape here, and it's kind of thick. I really like the way this is. So I'm going to center up my designs here and figure out where I need my nano tape to stick. And I'm gonna just use my nano tape to stick that on. All right, now I'm gonna flip it over and I'm gonna do the other side the same exact way. All right, isn't that precious? So the sides look a little naked, so I think I'm gonna take some of my little table scatter here, and I just took my X-Acto knife and I cut one of those in half, one of my little white stars. And I'm going to use my nano tape and I'm just going to put a star right in each side. And that just gives the sides just a little bit of embellishment. Isn't that precious? I love it so much. Now, to make your centerpiece complete, all you've got to do is put a little bit of greenery down in there. Stick a little American flag down in the center. And this adorable little centerpiece is done. So that is look number 2. Okay, so for the third look, I'm going to build upon the one that I've already got started here with the flower arrangement. So I've got my little bows that I cut off from this little garland here. And I'm just going to put a little hot glue and glue these little ribbons to the top. I think that's just a nice little accent. Now, this look is going to be a picnic caddy. So this picnic caddy is also going to double as the centerpiece for my 4th of July table. So I'm just going to take my little bucket here, and this came from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to stick it in one side, and I'll just start putting all of the stuff that I need for my picnic. So I've got my grilling utensils, all of these came from the Dollar Tree as well. I'm also going to put in my red Solo cups. I've got my straws that I picked up from Dollar Tree, and I've just got these set down in one of the little jars from the Dollar Tree. Okay, now it's looking really good. So now I've got my napkins and my plates, and you are probably looking at this thing going, girl, where are you going to put that? Well, let me show you. There's actually a little space right in between here. And y'all, watch this. One whole pack of napkins fits perfectly inside here. And then one of the little star plates fits perfectly in there as well. Is that not the cutest thing you've ever seen? Okay, so let's flip it over, and we'll do the same thing on the back side. We'll slip our napkins in first, and then watch. Boom. So now when I get ready to go out and grill out, I've got everything I need right there at my fingertips. Isn't that precious? And look how sturdy this is. Like, I've got a lot of weight on this thing, and it's not going anywhere. It is super, 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 super sturdy. What do you think? I think it's precious. that does it for today's video, y'all. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up because that would mean the world to me. And don't forget to let me know in the comments below which option you like the best. I personally like the last look the best because it's functional and cute both at the same time. But honestly, I can see myself using this box all year round and changing it out for all of the seasons. So until next time, happy DIYing, y'all.